Welcome to this series on cooking with the microbiome expert. We're going to talk about a wide variety of food and cooking topics. Oftentimes in my consultations, people will tell me they start going in radical diets. And we're going to talk about this is a series about the low FODMAPs diet, the very little on the vegan diet, the carnivore diet, and the keto diet. But instead of doing that, we need to address the immune system, the upregulated immune system. We need to address the fact that your microbiome is dysbiotic, and you're only going to make it more dysbiotic by feeding it all these delicious things which do not feed the good bacteria. In fact, these guys tend to feed the bad bacteria. Bad bacteria tend to love to ferment extra protein that makes its way on down the GI tract. You need to feed the good bacteria the fuels they love. Now, does something like onions make you feel uncomfortable? Yeah, onions is famous for making dysbiotic people uncomfortable. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Onions are part of the solution. But yes, for that temporary point in time, you feel discomfort from onions or something else, which we'll talk about, but they're part of the solution. You can't avoid the fight. You have to enter the fight to win the battle. On average, I eat 2 eggs a day. And I actually talk about this in my video on cardiovascular disease, how eggs do not increase your cholesterol levels. So take a look at that video. These eggs are free-range eggs. Ideally, you want to eat free-range eggs, and that's what I eat. I go to a special market to buy specifically my free-range eggs, as opposed to those factory eggs that are, raised in these hen houses with 80,000 birds. They never see the light of day. They never eat a blade of grass. This butter is also fresh from the farm as well. I understand not everyone can do this, but you can do the best you can. And here we have our delicious selection of animal proteins. We have a full free-range chicken. We have a cowboy cut for the pork, also for the beef. And we have some rack of lamb, which of course is absolutely delicious. And we have some stew bones, which we'll see in just a little bit. Now, the cousin of the carnivore diet is the keto diet. And the keto diet actually comes in quite handy for some people. So the concept with the keto diet is very high animal fat. So we have some of that here with the eggs, with the butter, but you could also do things like coconut oil, etc. And we can do healthy fats like olive oil. We could also do things like avocado. And then we tend to have a lot of stuff like this with the keto diet, which is great, for example, for weight loss, except if you have fatty liver disease. If you have fatty liver disease, I don't recommend all of these fats going into your GI tract. So that's a slightly different diet. But now we'll stay here on the keto diet topic. So the keto diet you can either be done correctly or incorrectly. So correctly, the keto diet has a lot of these other great guys here, like your celery, like your cabbage, your asparagus, even a carrot or two, your ginger, your broccoli, etc., your Swiss chard, along with your chicken, your butter, your eggs, your lamb, and everything else. So that's your keto diet done correctly. However, not everybody can cook like I do. Not everyone has access to free-range eggs or farm fresh butter or even has time to cook. They've got, other responsibilities and they lead a different type of lifestyle. So keto done wrong is more of just 100% this and this with some sausages and some bacon and things like that. That basically is turning into the carnivore diet. So yeah, they might throw in a little bit of vegetable here and there, but that is far excessive. Now you get into the carnivore diet, and now you're feeding a bad microbiome down below. And what's that going to cause? It's going to cause more dysbiosis, more immune dysregulation, more inflammation, the possibility of initiating or adding on to autoimmune diseases, etc., etc. So what we want is a keto diet done properly. But if you don't have the time to be doing all the food prep and all the shopping, all the cleaning that I have, then again, a great way to support the keto diet is with the keto diet support protocol that I have, where you're able to introduce a huge array of different prebiotics to feed the good guys further on down the GI tract. Because again, the bad guys, they tend to like to ferment things like this. If you're eating too much of this is going to work, some portion of this, especially with PPI use, is going to work its way down to the lower GI, which the bad guys are going to favor fermenting this. Okay, and then what the bad guys do, they drive inflammation, gut permeability, and hyperimmune responses. What we need to do is bring some of these guys into the mix, and if you can't do that by cooking and prepping and everything else, then we do that by an easy shake solution. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe. Also, somewhere around here, you can go to my website where you can schedule a consultation with me. You can also view the protocols, and here you can watch the next video.